So let me talk to you guys about restaurants. Oh man, I I never been the one to actually go to a top tier restaurant. I've been to Roof Chris, you know, but I've been to plenty other restaurants too, uh, Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's, Red Lobster, um, um, Olive Garden. I've been to those restaurants. I frequent those restaurants a lot. As a matter of fact, I just recently went to Red Lobster, and for some odd reason, I had a craving for their endless shrimp. Now, they know how to generate a buzz and to get people in, but the only thing from the endless shrimp that I would suggest that you get is the garlic shrimp, because the Walter, whatever that was, it was too breaded. The Marry Me, I don't know what that was. And the shrimp Alfredo, whew, it was too thin. Too thin. The Alfredo sauce tastes like water. But I see this video that's going crazy on TikTok right now, and it's about that Gordon Ramsay restaurant in London. Now, for me, I might have a huge issue with any type of animals in a restaurant setting. I don't have an issue with animals if you bring them into stores, into Walmart, because me being the Spark driver, I've seen my fair share of animals inside the Walmart where I'm at. And a lot of people like to play off that, oh, this is a service animal, and you can't ask if this is a service animal or not, even though you can just look at the animal and know for certain that that isn't a service animal. I'm just saying, service animal versus emotional animal, or whatever the case, I don't know. Now, don't get me wrong. I did do a video on that popular duck. That was a duck, and as a matter of fact, it was an obedient duck. I mean, the dude told the duck what to do. It did it. Told him to jump on his hand. It jumped on his hand. He even had a baby carriage for the duck, so that if he did run into issues, he would put the duck in the baby carriage and roll it that way. But unfortunately, Buc-ee's had an issue with that and forced the police to come and trespass the guy from that particular Buc-ee's. But he was like, no, I ain't going back to no Buc-ee's. But Texas Roadhouse too. I mess with Texas Roadhouse a lot. Now, I like going there for the aesthetic, but if you go to the restaurant, make sure you go there early, because waiting for the food takes a long ass time. That's why I just call in and just pick it up that way. But anyway, back to the story. So, this lady was in a whole restaurant with somebody else that was in there with a dog, taking a number 1 and 2 on a puppy pad inside the restaurant. Now, I'm like this on this situation, like, yo, whoa, wait, hold on, wait. This is a place where people come to eat. This is food. There gotta be some kind of, I don't know, FDA shit right? It gotta be. It gotta be some type of FDA, DDA, something. That a whole dog is in the restaurant taking a number 1 and 2 on the floor of the restaurant while everybody else thinking that's, oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, no, that's weird. That's nah. So the lady was like, "Hey, is that kosher? Is that okay? I don't think that's." And the management was like, "Yeah, they do it all the time." So, of course, she was visibly upset. You know, she had her young kid there, her husband was there, and the experience was just thrown off. And as a matter of fact, they was told that they had to pay their whole bill after they said something about it. Now me, I don't know. You probably might. I don't know. I don't know. They didn't get comp. They didn't. They situation. The management didn't care about how they felt or anything of that matter. See me, when I feel that the restaurant and their service is not all that great, no problem. I just pay for my food, get up, and I leave. They don't have to worry about they don't have to worry about my money ever again. Not just restaurants, but stores, venues, all of that. If I feel disrespected or the customer service wasn't servicing, they don't have to worry about my patronage ever again. Now, for this situation right here, like I said, it's being blown up all over TikTok, and of course, people are coming out with their think pieces on why this and why that. Some people support the restaurant, other people don't. But for me, if I go to a restaurant and I see any type of animal, I don't care if it's a cat, dog, frog, fish. But I don't know why you would be bringing a bowl of fish. Well, if they're in the bowl, I probably wouldn't have a problem with that. But anything else, I just feel that no. Now I'm not going to make a big stink of it. I'm not going to ask questions. I'm just going to kindly look up, because you don't have to pay for your food, or you don't even have to pay for the service until after. Let's just say they brought my food and I just happen to look and I see a dog, cat, or whoever, especially taking a number 1 or 2 inside of the restaurant. Now let me correct myself. I don't mean service animals. That is different. I seen how a service animal act. I know people with service animals. Legitimate, well-trained, well-obedient service animals. They let they human know that, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. And they would get up, take the animal outside, and let them do their business. Not inside of a restaurant where there's other people eating food. Okay, so let me just make that clear right there, right? So if there's animals other than a service animal, I'm just gonna get up and go to the front and say, hey, I'm cool. If your food didn't come, don't worry about it, because you don't have to pay for it. You can just bounce. But if your food came after and you feel some kind of way and you didn't touch the food, then hey, bounce. I don't see no problem of you getting up and go, because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna ask the management. I'm not gonna question it. I'm not gonna do none of that. I'm just simply gonna get up and take my business elsewhere. And I suggest that's what everybody else should do, because trying to stand there, trying to make a case out of nothing, because pretty much that's what it was. They didn't care. They absolutely didn't care about her situation, her feelings, or anything like that. They just say, hey, you don't like it, you can just leave. But before you leave, you got to pay us that $200 and some odd dollars. No discount, no courtesy, no nothing. No nothing. So, again, for me, like I said, man, hey, look, if the service ain't servicing or anything of that matter, I'm gone. I'm ghost. Bump all that. I'll go right down the street to Bob and Taft Surf and Turf. I'll go there. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to eat in a restaurant where animals is doing number twos in the restaurant. That's just, your appetite is just gone after you see something like that. So I don't know. I mean, I feel for this young lady. I'm glad that she made the video, even though the video is getting a lot of buzz. But hey, you know, like I said, sometimes it's just best just to leave and take your money elsewhere.